And Imani's saying bonjour because she's just back from France, Paris, France. Imani Jamal went to France for Imani's birthday. They had a wonderful time. And if you guys would like to see photos and snapshots of their vacation, follow us on our other social media accounts on Facebook and Instagram. How was your trip?
It was really good. We went there for a week, and honestly I could have stayed longer. Normally on trips, like by the 3rd or 4th day, no matter how good of a time I'm having, I'm like, all right, let's go home now. But for this trip,
that's how I am too.
For this trip, I didn't really feel like that. It was really nice. We saw a lot. We walked a lot. We saw the Eiffel Tower like 100 times.
You guys were staying very close.
Yeah, we stayed
your really Airbnb
close.
Really close to the
and plus like
a
lot of the things that like anyone would want to see is in that area. So
okay,
the Eiffel Tower is just there.
Okay.
So it was really nice though. Considering moving to Paris, so
really,
you know.
All right, I'll come live with you for about a year.
I'm gonna have to learn French.
Yeah, how was the food?
The food was really good.
Because last year you guys went to
London last January for Jamal's birthday.
So
food in London was like, I mean, I don't want to insult any English people, but personally, I didn't really care for it, but I really loved the food in Paris. Like, pretty much everything that I had was good. The only thing that I didn't really care for was, I forgot how to say it in French, but basically it was duck liver. So it was like paste, like a paste, and they kind of formed it into like this square. And they served it with toast and caramelized onions. Didn't care for the duck liver, but escargot, which is snails, that was probably one of my favorite things that I had.
Wow. Wow.
And the cappuccinos were good, the croissants were good, everything was really good.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome.
All right, guys, I'm gonna head out for a bit, but stay tuned because my parents are gonna be making some Trinidadian doubles. Au revoir.
All right, so today what we're gonna do is make what's called doubles. It's a Trini dish, and it includes 2 fried flatbread, a top and a bottom, and then you put a filling in it with chickpeas and curry. From what I understand, it originated in Trinidad. It's a breakfast food, it's a snack food, it's an anytime food. What I've done is I measured out 4 cups of all-purpose flour.
For you guys out there, you probably don't have a large family like ours, so you would probably go with 2 cups. So exactly. Anything that we're doing, you might want to cut in half.
This is all of the stuff that goes into the Bara. So this is a curry powder. It's a Madras curry powder. All right. Okay,
so you can use curry powder or turmeric. You could use that in place of the curry.
This is our saffron,
which is also, powder, which is also the same thing as turmeric. This is a
jeera, which is cumin. It's a roasted cumin seeds. And this one is we know baking powder. It's a leavening for the bread. We are also going to use yeast, believe it or not. I've never made any kind of bread that called for both yeast and baking powder. Okay, so I've never seen a recipe that calls for both.
Though most traditional Bara recipes call for both yeast and baking powder, I have seen some that actually call for just the yeast. For today, I think we're gonna go ahead and use both the baking powder and the yeast, right?
So, and also we've got some sea salt here.
Yeah, and you can also use pink salt, but we're gonna use the sea salt today.
We're gonna use some light brown sugar in it as well. So what we've measured out so far is ½ a teaspoon of salt, but we're not doubling the salt because we are trying to reduce the amount of salt that we use in our recipes. So 2 teaspoons of curry powder. It really smells good. As we mentioned before, instead of using the curry powder, you could use turmeric, but we decided to go with curry. So the next ingredient here is going to be the jeera, or cumin. So we'll go with 2 teaspoons of cumin. In a large bowl, we're going to combine the flour, salt, the curry, or turmeric, whatever you decide to use, and the cumin in a separate bowl. I have 2/3 cup of warm water. You don't want hot water. You just want it warm. A 1/2 teaspoon of brown sugar, and then 2 teaspoons of yeast. 1, 2. All right. So we're going to stir that up and let it start to foam. We'll give it a few minutes to sit on the side here and start to work. The yeast is going to actually start eating the sugars, and then it creates the gas bubbles for leavening. So in a couple of minutes that'll start to hopefully start bubbling. We're going to add 1 teaspoon of baking powder to our flour mixture. What I have in the bowl with the dry ingredients: 4 cups of flour, 2 teaspoons of curry powder, 2 teaspoons of cumin, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and 1 teaspoon of the baking powder. And we'll go ahead and combine all of the dry ingredients here. Okay, some recipes call for black pepper in the Bara. We decided to go ahead and go with the black pepper.
And how much black pepper are you using?
1/2 teaspoon.
Okay, so he's already put that in there.
The yeast mixture is already starting to work here. You can see that it's starting to foam. And we're going to add it to the flour now and work it all together. I want to mix this up a little bit before I start putting it in there. And then we'll pour it in there, and we're going to gently work it in to the dough. And I may need some extra water.
And that's warm water.
Yes, it's warm water. So we're going to add just a little bit of water at a time until we get our consistency right on the dough. You want soft dough, but not sticky. Couple of teaspoons of oil to this. All right, we put a couple of teaspoons of oil on this, and we're going to let that sit for about an hour and rise while we're making our channa, the chickpeas. All right, there you go. Let's put a top on that. I'm just going to lightly put the top on that. All right, so we're going to start the channa. We're going to use 2 medium-sized onions here, thinly sliced. So when we go to saute it, all this flavor comes out. There you go, 6 cloves of minced garlic. Jared is making some green seasoning here.
Smells good. Sam's cutting up some of the veggies for me.
So you ready for your garlic there?
Do you mind giving me a piece of that pepper?
Yeah. How much of it do you want?
Just a half.
Half? That's a lot, bro. Can I take the seeds out of there? Because
yeah. You can leave it, or you can take them out.
We're going to be crying here if we don't.
Sam doesn't want to cry, so we're going to take the seeds out.
Yeah. I'm going to put about half of a habanero in there, and this is going to be like fire.
So normally we would put a Scotch bonnet pepper in there, but since we don't have the Scotch bonnet, we are going to use the habanero pepper.
The other food chopper that we had is leaking, so we had a major mess on the counter, and I transferred it into the NutriBullet blender. We're adding a little bit more cilantro and lime to it. We're going to add 2 tablespoons of curry powder to about a half cup of water. And this is going to go in to the pot with the chickpeas. We have here about 4 cups of chickpeas, maybe a little bit more. I want the oil to be about medium heat, so it's shimmering a little bit. It's coming up to temp, and then we'll go ahead and drop our thinly sliced onions and our 6 cloves of garlic, and we'll saute that, and then we'll add our curry and water mixture. Boy, doesn't that smell good. Really. I believe it's shimmering.
It's shimmering.
I'm going to call that shimmering. So we'll add our onion and our garlic. To start turning a little bit clear, and then we'll go ahead and add that curry. All right. Yeah. There we go. All right, this has been cooking for a few minutes, and then we'll go ahead and add 4 cups of chickpeas to that. Doesn't that look really good?
It looks delicious and it smells delicious too.
All right, I'm gonna put a teaspoon of salt in here. 2 teaspoons of jeera or cumin. 1. And 2. Stir. Black pepper.
How much black pepper are you using?
1 teaspoon. I'm going to have to add a little bit more water to this. Alright, so we're going to put another cup of water in here. Okay, so we'll leave it uncovered, and it's going to simmer for about 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. I want to get the peas nice and tender. The channa has been simmering for about 20, maybe 30 minutes here. And we're going to go ahead and add some green seasoning that my wife made.
And how much of it did you put in there?
About 2 tablespoons. All right, so we'll let that simmer for about another 15-20 minutes. So let all the flavors combine. Boy, doesn't that look great.
That smells good.
Okay, so the chickpeas are nice and tender now, and at the very end here we're going to add the Scotch bonnet pepper sauce, and we'll add about a teaspoon of that. We don't want it really, really hot because we have the kids here. So we're just going to estimate here. That's about a teaspoon. Stir that in.
Looks good, Sam.
Wow, that smells great.
It does.
So this is cucumber chutney, and it's one of the condiments we're going to use on the doubles. And so I want to take the seeds out of here so it's not going to kill us. My brother got diverticulitis.
Okay.
And the man across the street did too. He almost died from it.
Oh, wow. Okay, so Sam's seeding
So
the
then we'll go ahead
cucumbers.
and grate the cucumbers.
And he's going to grate it now.
And really it's just going to be like a relish.
How's French, Jamal?
It was good. I had a lot of fun. I was talking to Sam about it this morning.
Oh, yeah?
It was really similar to the States, except just, a lot cleaner. It was just a lot cleaner. It was really similar to Manhattan. It was just maybe like 20 times cleaner. People there were pretty cool. It was alright. They were nice. It was a lot of fun. I'm tired though. I'm still trying to adjust from the time. I'm tired. A lot of people be like, man, you're living the life. It's a lot simpler than a lot of people think it is, and I think a lot of people get caught in that mindset. And like, even why like a lot of adults don't travel because they just think it's just like, you get what I'm saying? It's
too expensive.
It's too expensive, and it's not. I mean, in a sense it is, but you just have to know how to split things up. It's not like you could be like, okay, I'm gonna go on vacation next month, because then you know you gotta pay for the plane tickets, you gotta pay for the hotel or Airbnb wherever you're staying at. Like, we plan things once in advance. Like, we had this trip planned before we even went to Costa Rica. But we went to Costa Rica in the summer, so this is like months in the making, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, everything doesn't hit at once. If you plan for the right time, like I said, we only paid about $300 for our ticket, like $300 for the Airbnb, splitting it between 3 people. It's really, it's a lot more attainable than people realize.
So you're gonna have to give me all the details, because somebody sent me a message and wanted to know what travel agent you guys use.
Okay.
Because she wants to take her niece to Paris, France, and I told her that you guys don't use a travel agent.
So let me be your travel agent.
She said you guys should be, because I told her that, you know, I kind of gave her a little bit of how you guys usually do it. Yeah. But well, I'm gonna get the details from you later. Okay, so Sam's done grating the cucumber, and this is what it looks like, guys.
I graduated with honors.
Oh, good for you.
This semester I'm taking honors political ideology analysis.
Wow.
Sounds complicated.
Sounds complicated.
It's not. It's
just a big word for.
It's a big word for seeing the reasons why people vote the way they do, and why people have the political ideologies that they have, and analyzing it based off of, you know, background.
Right.
Seeing if race has to play into it.
We're gonna add some of that wonderful green seasoning that Greta made and the cucumber chutney. All right, so we'll go with 2 nice, maybe 2 to 3 teaspoons, and we'll give that a stir, and we'll see how that works out. We'll grind a little bit of salt. I'm not gonna measure it. We'll just put a little bit, and then we'll stir all of that up. It probably needs a little more lime. The lime will definitely give it some zing.
So here is the cucumber chutney, and it is delicious. Season that to taste.
Oh, that's really good. You could eat that like it is. Dough's been rising for about 90 minutes. So we're gonna punch it down. I oiled my hands so the dough doesn't stick, and I'm gonna punch it down. So basically you're knocking the air out of it. You see what I'm saying? It's called punching the dough down. There we go. All right. There we go. So it's carbon dioxide that's in there actually. That was created by the yeast. And we'll let that rest for another 10 minutes, and then we'll start forming the dough balls. And we'll put the cover on loosely and just let it set. And I've been dying for my mauby, and we bought some sorrel, and we're gonna make some tea out of that. So let's go ahead and try the mauby while we're letting the dough rest here, all right?
Well, you're gonna try it. I know what it tastes like already.
I've never tried it before.
Yeah, but it has lots of health benefits. It's really good for you.
We're gonna give it a shot. Mauby? Sounds like it's from New York. Give me some mauby. Yo, Adrian, give me some mauby.
Silly.
A 9-ounce cup of the mauby concentrate, and then I'm gonna go ahead and add 4 cups of water. Alright, so we'll stir this up a little bit. A little stir. We'll give it a little stir. I just went out to the woods and I picked up some mauby bark and threw it in the pot. Boiled it for 16 hours straight.
He's joking, guys. Anyway, mauby is made from the mauby bark. He's actually going to be tasting it for the very first time. I grew up on this stuff. more be in sorrow, but this is Sam's first time.
Let's take a taste. You know what it tastes like?
What?
It tastes like licorice. Licorice.
Really?
Mm-hmm. It has a licorice flavor.
Yeah, I can see why
A
you
little
would say
bit of
that.
bitter, but not much. But it does, it tastes like licorice.
Do you like it?
Mm-hmm. There's yours, babe.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Cheers.
This takes me back to my childhood.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what they say, when you get older, you start going into your second childhood. So here we are.
It's good.
It's absolutely sweet and amazing. Once again, I oiled my hands, and now I'm forming the dough balls. This is just our version. So we're doing the best we can here with what we have. Whoa, it's gonna fall out of my hands. There you go. That was a beautiful one. Wow, these are really cool. It's going really well, isn't it?
It is.
These are the condiments we're going to use for the doubles. This is the cuchella made from mangoes. The tamarind chutney, cucumber chutney. This one here is cilantro chutney. And we have Scotch bonnet pepper sauce. So we're going to eat. Channa's really good. The flavor is absolutely amazing. The bread is really soft. I picked all of the toppings, all of the condiments, and it's really, really wonderful. So we did a good job today, Toretta. I'm gonna eat. And we'll leave it in a warm spot.
That was a waste. Obviously, we had to make a new batch.
That concludes our Caribbean experience with the with the doubles. It was a big hit for the kids. They loved it, and it was absolutely delicious. So I recommend that you try it. If you've never tried doubles before, give it a shot. It's amazing.
Once again, thanks for joining us.
Comment down below.
Give this video a thumbs up and
Don't forget to subscribe.
bye.
Bye.